Good morning, it's Harvey. Good morning, it's Harvey Jackson. Just going to get through some of the news here. Crop reports hit, both StatsCan and the USDA, and USMCA negotiations, if it's actually happening. We'll just get into it here. So US seen not extending USMCA is starting a decade-long countdown to end of the trade pact. So I can't show all the clips, but it basically nothing is happening, and we knew that with brain dead clown Joe Carney. At the lead there. I think he's just looking for padding his Brookfield Asset Management monies when he finally gets kicked out of office. It's just everything is directed towards enriching the liberal pocketbook, and whoever's alongside him will actually benefit for sure. Yeah, there's no new deal. Even Carney said that. And U.S.-Mexico talk without Canada. Okay, yeah, it's obvious, right? So anyway, here's a excerpt here that just got clipped.
But it's also important to note that Canada has not officially started formal negotiations with the United States on the CUSMA agreement, something that the Mexicans have already done with the Americans. They've had 2 rounds of formal negotiations, whereas Canada and the U.S. so far have only had informal discussions. So tomorrow was not a cliff.
And how this is going to impact the Canadian dollar here too. You can see there's already another, a little bit of recovery and then pull back here. So the StatsCan report came out, and it did give us a little bit of a surprise. You see an 8.4% increase in canola. And your wheat is actually down as well. Your spring wheat is down 3.9%. It could be a bit more than that. I would say that the thing that we're going to be watching for going forward is abandonment. How much is not going to that got seeded that's not going to make it, because in the weather maps here you're going to see a fair bit of drowning, water washouts. So like, holy smoke, it's quite the area that's getting covered now. Like all of the prairies are just basically underwater now. Not all, but a good part of it anyway. Another note would be, some of the pulses, big changes in pulses, and your oats decrease in acres as well. So the U.S. actually, so wheat plantings down, like I said, as well. So you had 2 reports actually showing weaker production expected on wheat, and the quarterly grain report. I don't think there was a whole lot of surprises there either, but it should support corn and wheat. This is just the harvest of fewest acres. Karen Braun put this out on X, and you can see that it's going to be the smallest crop since 149 years ago. And I thought I would just throw this in here too. Canada is the 5th highest debt by country as a percentage. U.S. is actually quite a bit lower at 251%, and then global is 246. So you can see where the debt is, and yeah, it's high. Let's quick look at the weather here. So this is just the last 72 hours. Tried to add a few more locations close to Dauphin because I got 5+ inches just overnight last night, and there's flooding there. Oka River, you name it, is taking out a lot, doing a lot of damage locally. Just not last night, the night before we got 2.3 inches, but we had inches and inches before that every day. It seems like every night. But you can see that there's substantial rainfall across, and another bullseye over at Benito, Norquay area that's been getting hit pretty good too. And Rossburn it showed there as well. So this is just your moisture anomaly index, so you can see how this drought model, there isn't any drought, any at least according to this, you can see that the Peace River region is not as drought as it was. Finally updated the map. It's still a couple days old, but at least there's some updates. So precipitation percentiles, you can see extremely high, exceptionally high, a lot of dots on the and bigger areas on the map here. This is the severe storms that have been hitting Manitoba and northeastern Saskatchewan as well, with a few inches of rainfall. Here's the precipitation going forward here. You can see that there's adding some more moisture. This is using the European model, and it's not quite as bad as it has been, but there's still lots of moisture. And then this is using the GFS. That one, hopefully the GFS is correct, even though it, the last short while it has not been super accurate. Let's quick look at the markets here. Canola is down, not open right now, but U.S. markets are open. Soybean oil is down again, which is going to maybe give us an indication what the canola might do, even though soybeans they're trading up right now at 5.5 cents up at 11.49. So a good recovery from yesterday's news. Wheat is up 5.5 on spring wheat. Hard red winter is up 7.75, and Chicago is up 6.75. Milling wheat is up $1.50 in France. Oats is up 3.25. Canadian dollar is just slightly down. Quick look at it, so you can see that we're just basically getting to the same values that we were just last week on the lows. We basically have to break through there. I don't have my line quite in the right place, but the market seems to come back to this 10-day moving average, and I don't want to trade above it, and it's just trading along the slide going down here. So here's your European rapeseed, here's your soybean oil, and you can see we're just touching the 38.2 retracement value on the way down, staying below the 10-day moving average. And this is soybeans looks like it could be trying to break through, but it needs to break through. Probably has to get above that 10-day move, or the I think that's the 50-day moving average as well, because it's trading through the 10 and 20. Another one that I'm going to be watching as time goes on with the El Nino is the palm oil futures, and see if there's any production losses that's going to happen there, because areas that with El Nino situations, it's definitely the Indonesia, Malaysia, India, and Australia, and then southern U.S. Your crude oil still just tracking sideways at the bottom end of this range here, still not filling that gap yet. Long ways from filling the gap with the New York Harbor. Same thing with the gasoline, and I think that's a seasonal driving season highs here. So here's your Canadian dollar tracking below that 10-day moving average, still looking for full retracement to get back probably down to this extension value on the retracement at the 161.8. US dollar index gaining some strength. Euro is also weakening along with Canada as well. Maybe this whole elbows up thing, maybe that's going to come to roost here. Here's your wheat. Nice recovery over the last couple of days. Still not trading above that 10-day moving average. Looking for potential pop here, even on a slow stochastics as well. Kansas, nice recovery. Same thing with the Chicago. And your corn futures is trading above the 10-day moving average here as we speak. Here's your corn futures in Europe, and it's making a new high, going all the way back to, wow, it would be all the way into 2023 values here. So oat futures